Welcome to the Business of Beauty, where we help beauty entrepreneurs in building their business and reaching their dreams. This is your host, David Lee. Our guest today is entering her 5th year in the business and is proud of what is to come on educating everyone on the Pure Beauty Glow Acne Self Foundation. Her superpowers are helping women rebuild their confidence and increase their self-esteem one face at a time through skincare. Welcome to the show, Sylvia Brownlee at Pure Beauty Skin Bar.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So we're really excited to hear all about your business, kind of like your journey, and also what's going on with this, this world out there right now. So let's start with, tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, sure. So I'm actually coming up on my 5th year in business, as you stated, in June, actually. So I am excited, but a little nervous about what's to come. Hopefully I'm actually able to be open in June. And so I've been in the industry for 24 years. I started working in a big commission-based salon, and I worked there for about 10 years. And then I took the journey into management and also education. So I've had a little bit of everything in there. And the last place I worked, I got laid off. And right before I got laid off, I started Pure. So it was almost like
it worked out.
It worked out. It sounds like it worked out, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So here we are 5 years later, and I focus specifically on acne and hyperpigmentation, helping women increase their self-esteem through that, building their confidence through skincare. You wouldn't believe how many women and men that acne and hyperpigmentation affects. And so the look on their face when they come in, just looking down, just not feeling their best, versus when they are halfway through the program and even complete with the program is it's remarkable. It's priceless.
Now I'm curious, like you mentioned like the program, how long is the program? How long does it take? What is that, what is the customer experience like?
Sure. So it usually takes anywhere between 90 to 120 days, and some can take less and some can take longer. It really depends on that person. Everybody is different, as you know. They could have, some people have a small case of acne or hyperpigmentation, and some people have a little bit more challenging case. And so it just varies. And that's one question that customers always ask is, how long will it take? And it's like, great question. I can't answer it, but I can give you a roundabout. And so my goal is to underpromise and overdeliver, of course. But you'll start seeing results about 30 days in, because you're going to notice the texture changing. You'll notice different things in your skin because you're not only using the right skincare products, but you're making lifestyle changes as well.
Now, do they usually come in once a week or like twice a week? Like what is the duration, I guess? Or
so normally they come in about every 2 to 3 weeks. And that's if I'm seeing them in person. If I see them virtually, we communicate every 2 weeks as well. So that's a program that I started that, I guess it's been about a year ago, the virtual consultations, but they're really taking off now because, of course, I can't have any one-on-one contact with anyone. So even my local clients that normally would come in and see me, we're doing the virtual consultations as well. And so we take them through the program, talk to them about everything, what they can expect, talk to them about diet and lifestyle changes. We follow up every 2 weeks. I have an app. It's called Pure Beauty Skin Bar app. And so what they do is they download that app, and that is the perfect way that we communicate. We track their diet. We track their pictures, so they can upload their pictures into that app. And that way I can keep track of everything going on with each client that I have. And it just makes it easier to have them all in that one space.
Okay. Now, I guess let's go back in time a little bit and kind of like, how did you, I guess, decide to go down this path? Is it from your previous experience working at the salon, or is this something else?
Yeah, so it's pretty much been the same. When I worked at the salon, I started off for like literally 2 seconds doing hair, and
Mm-hmm.
realized how much I didn't love that. And then did a little bit of nails, and I'm like, it just, and then I did skin, and I was like, this is it. Loved it. And so I did that while I was at that commission-based salon for those 10 years. And then the transition was, because I was in a non-compete, I knew that if I left there, I would have to leave all of my clients as well. You couldn't have any contact with them for a year.
Okay.
So basically, I just went into management after that. And that's really where I learned how much I loved that client interaction. Being away from the client and just managing stylists, I thought, oh, this is definitely a different animal. And I love the client interaction more than managing.
Got it. So I guess, what was it like starting your business here?
Yeah. So when I first started Pure, I did a little bit of everything skin related. So I did lashes, I did facials, I did waxing.
Would you recommend that to anyone starting their business, doing everything? Okay.
So I wanted to say that because once I zoned in on what I wanted to specialize in, that's when my business started to grow. But I didn't realize that. I didn't know, basically you have all these clients and they're telling you, oh, you should do this and you should do that. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? And you're like, okay, you're just trying to give your clients what you want, especially when you're building. But once I focused in strictly on skincare only, my business definitely started to grow, and I focused my education strictly on that as well. All my continuing education was focused around acne and hyperpigmentation classes. So once I did that, it's like my business just started to really grow.
Nice. So can you shed some light on what you mean by the growth? So growth can be, increase in clients, you're able to increase the pricing because you niche down. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So what I did was I started to take classes specifically in what I wanted. And when I knew that was acne and hyperpigmentation, I'm like, okay, I need to learn every single thing. I mean, I knew about it, but I never specialized in it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to niche down, and this is going to be my focus. So everything from all of my marketing, my advertising, anything you saw on my page, I wanted you to be able to go to my page, whether it's my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, my website, and you would know exactly what I focus on. You didn't have to guess. You knew that acne and hyperpigmentation are what I focus on. You knew that I did virtual consults. There was no guessing. And I think that's a problem right now, is sometimes you look at someone's page and you're like, okay, you see a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You see some family, you see a little bit of everything all over the place. And I think your business page needs to focus strictly on your business. That's key. And I learned that just over time. I didn't know this, going in, but I learned like there should be consistency when you're posting. I post every day at 9 a.m. And then on Sundays I don't post. Now the times have changed a little bit, so it's like you post all the time, but I try to keep it consistent because that's super important, and your followers get used to that. Like they want to see that. So I focused in on acne and hyperpigmentation. My clientele started to grow because I got a specific clientele. I got clients that wanted to take care of their skin, that had issues with their skin, and I needed to help them with that. So I noticed it start to grow in the number of clients. I also noticed I didn't change my pricing just yet because I was still like, well, let me see if there's a need for it, if people want it. And I really learned rather quickly that there was a need, and I outgrew my space. So and I outgrew it. When I say that, it's because there was more that I wanted to be able to offer my clients. So I wanted to have a nicer retail area. I wanted to have a separate area where they would get their services, but I also wanted to have an area where they could come in together as a group and experience skincare. Because some people are nervous about that, right? Skincare is a very sensitive area. I noticed that I used to do vendor events. And so I thought, okay, maybe I can try to build my business through this. But I noticed that because I specialized in acne and hyperpigmentation, that wasn't something people wanted to talk about out in public. And so, in the beginning, you want to kind of be a part of everything, every type of event that's happening. And I'm like, I realized probably about after a year that wasn't the best thing for me. I needed to know, is my client going to be there? And it's important to know who your client is. What does that client look like? From everything from their age, what they wear, what they like to watch on TV, what they like to scroll through on Instagram. All those things are important when I'm narrowing down my client.
So you're saying not everyone's your client. Like
Absolutely.
Okay, so because I hear that a lot, especially with new entrepreneurs when they're thinking of starting a business and when they're getting asked, "Hey, who's your target market? You know, who are you advertising to, promoting to, servicing?" They're like, "Oh, everyone that breathes," right? Like, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, it sounds like, like rather than jack of all trades, you want to be that master, right? That master. And also there's a saying I love sharing is Confucius saying, if you chase 2 rabbits, you get none, right? So you want to chase one and focus on actually getting one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
I love that. And so how has your business, one more thing. Have you noticed your client base is easier for referrals too, right? Rather than, she does everything, right? Instead of, we know that Pure Beauty Skin Bar does exactly this and you should go to them about that, right?
Exactly.
The referrals are much easier too.
Oh, for sure. So basically it's a lot referrals, clients that I've cleared refer their friends or family members. I have a sign outside my window that says "Away with acne, clear skin." So there is no guessing on what we focus on here. Does that mean that I don't get anti-aging clients? Absolutely, I do. And the reason is because that acne client eventually turns into that anti-aging client. And one thing that people don't realize is that the acne products are also great for anti-aging. So it's kind of a 2-for-1.
Yeah. So this makes sense. It's like a natural progression
to
that rather than, jumping from skin to nails to hair. That jump is a little too much, right?
Absolutely. Even waxing, I have clients that I've done for a long time that still get brow waxing, that still get bikini waxing. And I specifically do those people, but I don't promote waxing. So nobody's going to say, "Oh yeah, she does great brow waxing. She does Brazilians." Not that I don't do a great job at that, but that's not what I promote.
Yeah. And your expertise, all your investment has really been put towards the skin, the skin side, right? Skincare.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Now, do you also have like strategic alliances, like people that other, I guess, professionals that are in the beauty industry that refer to you or vice versa?
That's a great question. I work with some makeup artists because we do have a Pure Beauty Glow foundation line, but it still ties back to skin. It's because it's acne safe. So that's the whole reason that it was created. But I don't really have any alliances, but that's something that I'm working on for 2020. If I can ever,
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I hear is that, especially once you're able to niche down what you have, it makes that alliance that much easier because now your alliances, your strategic partners know that, okay, well, you're not stepping on my toes. I know exactly what you do. So I can refer you and you can refer me. So it's a win-win.
For sure.
Yeah, I love
Definitely.
that.
Like I have a couple friends that do lashes, things like that. And I can always refer them out, which makes for a great referral because it's not something I do or desire to do anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Now, so can you share about like the virtual side? How did you come up with doing the virtual consultation? What was the initial need for that? Obviously now with the situation, it was great timing, right? And you were preparing that for over a year, but before all this kind of blew up, right?
Sure.
What made you transition into or add that area? of that
So
virtual?
I basically had one, I wanted to make sure that my business wasn't just in Cincinnati, that if I met someone that I could treat them wherever they were.
Yeah.
And so basically that's when I created the virtual program. And what that consists of is we speak just like we are now via Zoom. They get all the paperwork they need. I ship the products to them. So it's just it's not really very different, especially in these times now where you're shipping your products out to everyone. They get their products, and as soon as they get their products, we do a follow-up call and we speak about exactly how to use their products. Even though they get it in an email, it's still nice to know exactly how to use those products, what to expect. We go over those things, and then they know that we'll have a follow-up in 2 weeks just to see how their skin's doing. Before they would send me pictures before I had the app, but now they can just upload the pictures right into the app.
Nice. Now, I'm curious, with your app, did you hire a developer to create it from the ground up, or did you use an app that was already there and you were able to leverage that?
Yeah, I have a developer that created the app. I told him everything that I wanted in the app, and he made it happen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, for those that are out there that are curious, they're thinking about, oh man, it sounds really expensive. Like, can you give us like a rough ballpark pricing of how much would it cost to build an app for like a beauty business like yourself?
Yeah, so honestly, it really varies. So what I realized is that getting into an app, there's so much on the back end, right? So it depends on. There's so many different things. You could use a booking system that already exists, and you add, you're using other apps included in your app. You can use different food apps and different things like that. So it can range anywhere from like 2,000 to 3,000 to upwards of 30,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how long did it take to build it?
It took, I would say, about 12 weeks.
Okay.
And then we had to, like test some things out. So, before we went live. And then just recently we kind of revamped it. And so now we're still like testing some different things out, because the way you upload pictures are different. It's a completely different app. It's better, but everything comes with, that getting to know.
And technology changes, right? The new iPhone comes out, right?
Absolutely.
Now, did you build the app for both, like iPhone, iOS, and Android, or did you stick with
it's
iOS?
for both.
For both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So now
that
you're
was very
maintaining
important as
platforms.
Well. Exactly.
And how was the reception overall with the app? And I guess from the point of release to now, like, did it take a long time to get users using the app, or was it really natural? Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll download the app and start using it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. People were like, "Oh my God, you have an app! This is so cool!" So they loved that part of it, and then downloading it was cool. They thought it was, oh, this is my esthetician and she has an app, so they loved it. And it's just super easy for them. So that way, everything is right there. They can book an appointment from there. They can buy products from there. They can upload their pictures. So everything is at the click of a button, which makes it easier for them. So it's all about making the customer service experience easier for them.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, and you've been doing this for 5 years, only 5 years, and you've already are at this point. Like, most people don't even have an app when they're like 10 years into the business. So you're pretty.
I've been licensed for 24 years, so that makes a difference, I think. Because I don't want people to think, oh, it's super easy being an entrepreneur, because it's definitely not. But I started off as a commissioned employee. And I think that makes a big difference, because I watched this business that I worked for, and I watched the great things happen, the not so great things happen, and thought to myself, if I ever owned a salon, what I would like to see and what I wouldn't like to see. So I learned a lot during that 10 years that I was there. And was able to see, I knew that I wanted to have, for example, a booking system where people would book online. I didn't want to book via my cell phone or text message. So they're just small things that you see, and that you're like, okay, I definitely want to do that, or I definitely don't want to do that. Like the old school paper books. Remember those where you'd write down your appointments? But I think some people still do. Like,
it's crazy.
And it's like, the thing is that makes you really tied to your business, like day and night, because if you have it online, people are booking appointments and purchasing product when you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so you want to make that, you want to be accessible to your clients 24/7. And so by doing everything online, the more you can, the better the clients have access to your business.
Yeah. And from what I'm hearing, you made some really, really good business decisions. And now, I mean, we're all kind of going through this craziness, right? With the whole world. But now, like, how are you going through this? Like, for your business?
So basically, I'm just really promoting my virtual consultations a lot more. I'm capturing content when I'm doing the virtuals and getting pictures of that, so people can see what that looks like and get it in their mindset. Because even though you say virtual consult, everyone doesn't know what that means, or they don't grasp the idea of it. So I want people to really see it. So I'm, trying to create that vision for them so they understand exactly what it is. And then I'm also doing product sales still. So I'm still shipping product to my clients. And so after a virtual, I'm doing my recommendations. They can order the product and get it shipped out to them. And it's basically business as usual on that side. So, and then just with my current clients that I'm not seeing, I'm following up with them, checking to see how their skin's doing, having them upload pictures into the app so that I can see their skin, adjusting their routine, just, via virtually. And then if they're out of products, reshipping their products to them.
Now, do you foresee your business, if it's already your virtual business, surpassing your retail, like your local brick and mortar location?
Honestly, that would be the ideal goal. Like, I mean, that was honestly my goal for years from now. Who knew that this would happen and like kind of push?
Yeah, just like, let's speed up the timeline.
But I think everything's in the power of the tongue, right? So sure, I'm excited that my virtual business is growing. Sometimes you're forced to do some things that you wouldn't have done so soon. So I think this is just making me push the virtual business a lot more, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, love that. Now you mentioned products. So do you develop your own products? Do you have a line of products that you already have? Like, how did that?
So I have a chemist that I work with very closely, and we developed a line of products. And that helps me as well to be able to make sure that I'm recommending the exact product that my clients need for their skincare concerns. I guess it's been a year, I think, ago. Last October, not even a year ago, I launched an acne safe foundation. It's a mousse with 17 shades. And basically I would have clients come in for like 2 years when I first started my acne business, and everyone was using the wrong foundation. It was clogging their pores. They weren't getting as clear as quickly as they wanted to. And every time we talked about makeup, that was always an issue. And so I'm like, I gotta do something about this. And so that's when Pure Beauty Glow Foundation was born. And we launched it last October. So that's kind of the newest baby, which is pretty exciting. And so when we get to open back up, I really want to kind of I'm working behind the scenes now on a way to help my virtual people get color matched, because that is the most challenging part when you're doing a virtual business, for someone to match their complexion online.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, maybe they can, how like in video, before they film, they have this like color palette that they hold up to the camera. Maybe you can use something like that with technology. I don't know.
So I have different shades on there, but sometimes it still can be a little off, but that's a great idea.
Yeah. Or even like, I don't know, the iPhone cameras, their detections are really good. So maybe you can use that through the app. So I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, the product, how long did it take you to develop the product working with the chemist? And I guess, where did you find the chemist?
Lots of research to find the chemist, for sure. And I would say it took about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because you find someone you think you want to work with, and then that might not work out. or you get a formula and you test it out and that doesn't really work out. So you just it's kind of like trial and error until you find the right match with the chemist and the product.
Okay, nice. And then how did you go through the testing process? Did you try it yourself, ask for family and friends, like, hey, I have this product?
All that. Yep. Yeah. So once we came up with the formula, she would send it to me to test. I'd say yes. Then she'd send me more to kind of share with friends and family or clients. And that's just how it worked. And doing like focus groups, deciding what you love about it, what you hate about it, what you're like, I kind of like it. And then you just go through that. And then you kind of decide, okay, we have, this many yeses, this many nos, let's narrow this down. And then, we come down to the final, like 1 or 2, and then just make that final decision.
Oh, nice. And 2 years in the making, finally it's out.
Yep.
So like, where do you see yourself? And I know you're really excited about, with your Safe Foundation brand, with your products, and also, pushing a little bit more on the virtual consultation. Where do you see your business going and the rest of 2020 to the next 3, 5, even 10 years out?
Sure. So the rest of 2020, with it being so uncertain right now, hopefully we're back up and running in June is my
not Easter though.
No.
Yeah, right.
No. Yeah, not Easter. Now it's pushed to what? We're closed until April 30th. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to say that for the remainder of the year, my goal is to just really focus on some collaborations with some different people, some makeup artists, some small-based local influencers, as well as Midwest influencers. Continue to grow the virtual business. And then my goal for 2021 is to see the foundation line in major spas to sell to their clients, or to other estheticians that focus on acne and hyperpigmentation. And the reason I say that is because it's hard to find a good foundation for clients that are clearing their acne that want to still cover.
Yeah. Okay.
And then 5 to 10 years from now, that's a great question. Definitely 5 years from now, maybe the foundation in stores. I haven't decided. There's something to be said about keeping your products on a I can't necessarily get to them level, like
a little more exclusive. Is that what
keeping them pretty exclusive. I think that that's still a great thing. A lot of people want to do Target and Walmart and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my goal is to keep it a little bit more exclusive, because and with my skincare, I want to keep it exclusive there as well, because clients need to be told how to use their products. They need direction. And I've seen that just from clients just purchasing online and not really knowing how to use the products properly. So they need that direction. So I would really like to increase my online sales with the products and increase the app downloads so that people understand how to use the products, because on the app, it shows them exactly how to use each kit. So I'm walking them through each step of every kit that I have.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So it sounds like your focus is more growth on the product side, because you really have 2 sides of your business, right? One service-based and one product-based. And you can clone products, you can't clone yourself, right? So there's a limitation on the service end unless you start hiring more people and building your team that way. But scaling out product is a lot easier, as long as people understand your brand, you understand your product, and you can scale out much easier. Not necessarily easy either way growing a business, but yeah, definitely. So is that kind of what you're thinking? Kind of scaling out the product area?
I get asked that question a lot, as far as like, when are you going to hire another esthetician? When are you going to bring someone in? You're busy. And that's just not my dream. That's not my vision. And so I'm like, oh, I'm not. Like I work 4 days a week, 12-hour shifts, and I love it. I work Monday through Thursday, 9 to 9. And I changed my schedule last October to be able to do more events locally and out of town. to be able to travel with my products, to be able to grow my business. You know, most events happen on Thursdays or Saturdays, right? And every weekend I was always here doing clients. So I decided I'm gonna transition to Monday through Thursday and see how it worked. And little did I know, I was always booked solid on Mondays, which I thought, wow, this is interesting. But if you think about it, most holidays fall on Mondays, where schools are closed, banks are closed, people are off work, so they get to come in during that time.
It's true.
So it's very interesting how that happened. And I worried about my Saturday clients, and I thought, oh shoot, what happens if they don't come? Well, they came. I'm here till 9 p.m. So 8 o'clock at night, you can still book a facial, or 8:30, you can still book a brightening treatment or a chemical peel. It typically works out. So families been fed, kids are in bed, and now you get to get your treatment.
And that's wonderful. And people think like, and you're right, people think like, oh, the only way to grow a business is to hire more people. That's absolutely not true. There's so many options. You know, as an entrepreneur, that's one of the things that we have to do, look at, is like think outside the box, right? Like rather than, and especially now, it worked out really well, because imagine if you had a large team, right? I know. Now, it'll be hard to maintain payroll and upkeep if the client aren't coming in. But if you're running it really, really lean, then you can go through these tougher times and not worry about it as much. Like if I had a extremely large team, I don't think I would be able to sleep at night right now.
Oh, right. You'd be so worried.
I
mean, I worry alone for myself. I would be so worried about like my staff, you know? Yeah,
exactly. So one of the things that I've seen a lot of successful businesses do is once they figured out their niche, rather than hiring more people, maybe they hire like maybe an assistant or something when they get extremely busy. But they really look at that subcontracting or partnerships where like, okay, well, for example, I mean, this is a little extreme, but like, I'm not going to go and buy a manufacturing building to start manufacturing the product. Why don't you just go to a manufacturer and say, this is my formula, this is what I want manufactured, right?
Exactly.
And that way you can say, all right, well, we don't need as many products. Okay, we can immediately in a turn of a dime, you can change your operations, and you can be very, very agile.
For sure. So I agree. I'm actually kind of looking through that and looking at my products and looking at what's selling and what isn't selling. And is it not selling because it's not a good seller? Or is it not selling because I'm not pushing it? So it's this time, I know it's not a great thing happening, but it's allowing me to get a lot of things done in my business that I don't normally have time to do. And it's also allowing me to set up some new policies and procedures in place that I've been wanting to do, but didn't have the time.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and you're looking at things as half glass full. And I love that, rather than, because you have others that are like really stressed out, and we're all stressed out. They're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And they stop doing anything. Well, now is the time where, okay, catch up on things, focus on education, because the economy will come back, right? People start working again. People will need your services or products again. So now is the time to kind of get that preparation in. Now, so we're near the end of our session. What information or advice would you give like new entrepreneurs that are thinking about starting, a business in beauty? What recommendation, what suggestions would you give them?
So the one thing I would say would be become a specialist, not a generalist. I would also say be consistent with what you're doing. A lot of times people get very discouraged, especially like a time like this for a new entrepreneur is going to probably make them feel like they should not have quit their full-time day job. But I would say don't get discouraged, be consistent. When I first opened Pure, I worked a full-time job and then I got laid off. But before that, I was still taking clients in the beginning, in the evenings when I got off. And that's okay to do. I think a lot of times people pressure entrepreneurs to just go jump in 100%. And you don't have to do that. And I hate that you hear that so much, but take your time. be consistent, and become a specialist. I think becoming a specialist makes all the difference.
Yeah, I love that. You know, and to add on to that, people think like entrepreneurs, we take extreme risks. Well, not necessarily. We take calculated risks. Right?
Absolutely.
We look at
You have to have a plan.
Yeah, have a plan. And I've seen a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they're in a much better position than any like, you know, employee, right? Any staff, because they position themselves in their business with great residual income. Maybe they have a good savings, you know, great backup plans, and they've already switched their model, you know, in your case, going virtual, right? A year ago, before any of this ever existed. So, you know, you're a freaking genius, right? You're ahead of your time, really.
No, thank you. I mean, it's just something I wanted to do, but I'm glad that I did it. Otherwise, I'd be kind of scrambling to figure it out now. But regardless, it's what people need. We have to do, right? We always have to figure out what to do in these times.
Yeah. I mean, this is the life of a business, you know, owner, entrepreneur, and business in general, or else like, I mean, we don't have, you know, for people that know what this is, like a VCR, right? We don't have like film cameras anymore. They're digital cameras, and Blockbuster's not around anymore, right?
Yeah,
so all
for
these
sure.
business technologies that used to be around, they're not around anymore. So we got to keep up with the times and evolve.
Absolutely.
So what I see it, and I'm curious on what your thoughts on this. And one last bit is, now I feel like customers, people will be much more accepting on a virtual like meeting standpoint, and buying online even more so now. They don't even want to leave the house, right?
Yeah,
so now
absolutely.
Time, right?
I agree 100%. This is going to teach them that, oh, okay, I can have a skin consultation online. I'm actually even next week, I'm going live with a girl that does hair, and she specializes in curly hair. And together, her and I are going to go live and just talk about like Q&A. And I think it's going to be super cool, because I did a consult with her virtually and learned so much, you know, and it's like, I learned what products to go buy. I learned how to apply things, how to use them. I mean, yeah, I could have went into her salon, but she's not local, so I'm not going to fly to her just for a consult, right? So it just makes sense. And it's like, okay, everything she told me, I've learned it. Now I need to just go buy the products and start practicing.
Yeah. So I love that. Now, one last bit, how can our community reach you, our viewers reach you?
Sure. So I have a website. It's www.purebeautyskinbar.com, or they can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Pure Beauty Skin Bar.
Nice. And thank you. And all the information, no worries, will be down in the show notes. We'll have all that detail. And also, since you're going live next week, if you have a link or anything you can share with us, we'll put that in the notes too.
Okay, sounds good.
Again, thank you so much for your time. And everyone, see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem.